Yo, what is up guys? Boy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. So Joe Smith Jr. defeats Jesse Hart by a unanimous decision in a fairly one-sided fight. I've got to say, I was expecting a much more competitive fight between these two. Going into the fight, I expected it to be very hard fought, and I felt both guys had a great chance to win this one. In fact, I actually picked Jesse Hart to win this fight on points, so I've got to eat crow here. Fair play to Joe Smith Jr., pulls out the victory, and, he can go on now to maybe fight for another world title. And, this fight was really a story of Jesse Hart not being able to cope with the pressure and power of Joe Smith Jr. Jesse Hart never really got a foothold in this fight, and he was fighting, dare I say it, scared, He felt the power fairly early on. Joe Smith was getting close, really crowding him, and it looked like Jesse Hart didn't really want to know. He was backpedaling, he wasn't really throwing many hard shots, and he was fighting like a guy who just wanted to stay away. And obviously Joe Smith Jr. was following him around, applying pressure, landing good hard shots. He hurt Jesse Hart on several occasions. He dropped Jesse Hart in round 7. And yeah, this was pretty comfortable for Joe Smith Jr. Like I said, the overhand right from Joe Smith Jr. was landing all night. Jesse Hart really couldn't get out of the way of that shot. In fact, there are several times when Jesse Hart would actually turn into that shot. So Jesse Hart really did a bad job avoiding that right hand all night. And yeah, he was just really second best throughout. As this fight played on, as it got towards the end, I was expecting Jesse Hart to show some type of desire, to make some type of stand, but it never came. Jesse Hart has reasonable power. At a certain point, he should have really held his feet and, tried to land some big power shots, but he just didn't want to know. He was intimidated, he got beat up, he got walked down, and listen, Joe Smith Jr. was the better man. He showed more desire, he applied some really good pressure, landed some good shots, cut the ring off fairly well against a guy who was moving quite a lot, and yeah, Joe Smith performed pretty well in my opinion. I think this was one of his better career performances, in all honesty, so credit to Joe Smith Jr. And as for Jesse Hart, I was really expecting a lot more. In regards to Joe Smith Jr.'s next opponent, coming off a good win now, he's a viable contender. A fight I would love to see would be Joe Smith Jr. versus Callum Johnson. I think that would be a hell of a fight at light heavyweight. Both guys can punch, both guys are fairly aggressive. That's a great fight. Joe Smith versus Callum Johnson. That's the fight I would like to see next for Joe Smith Jr. As for Jesse Hart, this was the third defeat of his career. Before this fight he lost a couple of times to Gilberto Ramirez and actually really gave a good account of himself. But against Joe Smith, like I said, he really didn't turn up to fight, and that was disappointing. So he needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to really work out whether he wants this, because he fought like a man who didn't want this. So a bit of soul searching for Jesse Hart, and yeah, we'll see where he goes next. But listen, congratulations to the winner, Joe Smith Jr. I felt it was a good performance, and on to the next one for him. Share your thoughts below. What did you make of this fight? What did you make of Joe Smith's performance? And what did you make of Jesse Hart's performance? Share your thoughts below. Peace.